Hey gang, Meteorologist Mike Nicco here on this Sunday morning. Excuse me, I want to give you an update. Get that frog out of my throat. Man, didn't know where that came from. Hey, we've got three main storylines we're going to talk about. Hazardous heat to start the 7-day forecast. Then we've got some storms and the potential for flooding. Unfortunately, this has been the 9th wettest July ever. And with the rain coming in, it could catapult us into the top three. Flooding potential, it's out there. I'll show you that. And then how about a preview of fall with temperatures nearly 10 to 15 degrees cooler than during this heat wave. So let's jump right into it. Let me get the graphics loaded up here. And here we go. All right. Sorry, I've had to cough there. Frog completely gone now. Voice back to normal. Today, tomorrow, Tuesday, dangerous heat. First warm weather days. Highest designation. Want you to bring this to your attention and give it, your full, undivided attention. The oppressive humidity and the dangerous heat index, 105 to 110, and that's going to really heighten our heat risk. It's going to make it, moderate to medium to moderate, which is 2 and 3 out of 4, which is pretty dangerous, especially if you're going to be working outside, doing any strenuous activity. Try to limit that between 11 o'clock in the morning and 7 o'clock in the evening. That's when the heat index will be well over 100. Remember, drink fluids before you get thirsty. By the time you get thirsty, you're going to be playing catch up the entire time. So let's look at the next 3 days, and they look very similar. Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Low to mid 90s, 92 to 94. Feels like temperature 105 to 110. Tuesday's our last hot day. So this is a 3-day event this go around. Breaking down today, this morning, mainly dry. We had a few thunderstorms south and also well east. Most of that has cleared up. It's so humid out there. There is a very, very weak boundary, about a 10 to 20% chance we may have a random storm this afternoon. Just want to throw that out there. Otherwise, it's going to be the heat. Already in the afternoon hours, that's when the first warn 5 kicks in for those feel likes at 105 to 110. But the heat index still during the evening hours will start off at 105, and not till we get to about midnight, 11 o'clock, will it finally drop down to around 95 degrees. So if you're thinking about when to do some strenuous outdoor activities, right now if you need daylight, once the sun sets, if you don't need daylight, I know, walking the dog, when do you do it? Especially being careful with the asphalt out there that could get up to 120 or 140, the concrete that could feel like 120. Test it with the back of your hand or the palm of your hand. If you can't keep your hand on there, you don't want to walk your dog on that either. Or try to find a nice park. Grass would be nice. All right, let's get you prepped for today. Getting more specific about today. We've got the oppressive heat and humidity where it feels like 105 to 110. We're under a heat advisory. All of us are. From now all the way through Tuesday. This is just day 1 of day 3. So here we are at 9 o'clock, already 84 degrees, near 90 at noon. These are your air temperatures, okay? You can see the hottest temperatures, 91, 92, 3, 4, 5 o'clock. Even at 9 o'clock, it's still 86. But what is it going to feel like to you and me in the shade? All right, we always emphasize this is in the shade, because if you're in the sun, you have dark hair or dark clothing, it could feel 10 to 15 degrees warmer. So in the shade, it is going to feel like 100 already at noon, 106 at 3 o'clock, and 105 at getting up there around 5 or 6 o'clock. And then you can see still like 92 at midnight. And that's the key also. It's just not going to cool off much during the overnight hours. So the muggy meter, what it feels like to you and me, is going to be right there near miserable all the way through at least Tuesday. Wednesday, showers roll in. We'll still have high humidity Wednesday and Thursday, even though the temperatures will start dropping. But look at Friday and Saturday. A bit humid. Are we almost to near a comfortable level? That's how dramatic the change will feel come the end of the work week. I could show it here in highs. Look at that, 94 for Monday, 94 for Tuesday, 89 right where we should be Wednesday, and then look at that, mid to upper 70s Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Oh, that's gonna feel so nice. And the transition brings us a first warn day for those showers. There's a small chance they could be severe. There's a chance there could be flooding. That's why we've got a first warn on Wednesday. The rain chances will taper to 30 and 20 as we head into Friday. So potential rainfall right now, 1 to 2 inches. again, if we get that, that's second, third highest amount when you aggregate everything that's fallen this month for an entire month of July. Man, has it been wet. I bet you can imagine some of the top 2 months. Yeah, 1992, 1993, absolutely. I've got a chart in here. I don't think I put it in here. Let me show you that. Well, let's talk about the potential rate, and then I will throw in this chart that I made today showing just how much rain that would be and where did I do with that chart. So there you go. You're looking at a 15% chance of flooding. That's pretty much what we've had the last 3 events. We did have a 40% chance as we were working into yesterday. And yesterday, actually, we had the least amount of flooding out of all of those days, but there was still that atmospheric moisture content that was so high, and that's why we had an issue with a potential flooding. All right, so that is Wednesday, and notice it drops down Thursday to about 5%. So the heaviest of the rain is definitely going to come in Wednesday. The timing, that I'm not sure yet. Some models bring it in like in the morning around 7, 8 o'clock, the front that is, that's going to create all this. Other models bring it in around 3 or 4 in the afternoon. 3 or 4 in the afternoon, we're going to have a higher potential for not only flooding, but also for severe weather. Comes in the morning, and we kind of negate the potential for severe weather a little bit, but the flooding is still there. All right, let's talk about those monthly rain records. And there you go. That is for July. And if you look at the top, in 1992, 15.5 inches, followed a year later by 10.9 inches in 1993. And there we are, number 9 at the bottom at 9.6. So if we get an inch, that puts us at 10.6. That's number 4. We get 2 inches, that puts us at 11.6, and that makes this July the second wettest ever. So that is what we've been dealing with, and that's the potential moving forward. All right, let's talk about what's going to happen after that. Most of that rain is going to fall Wednesday. To a lesser extent, it's going to fall on Thursday. After that, look at this. Thursday, temperatures 5 to 15 degrees below average. And look at that dark blue spread southward. That's the temperatures that are 15 degrees below average for Friday. And look at Saturday. Man, if you could put off any outdoor activities until next weekend, oh, it is going to feel so nice. All right, I want to take care of a couple of items if you may be heading up to St. Joe. Chiefs training camp, I know it just started, but they're also having a party afterwards. Here's the way the breakdown at St. Joe for the camp is 84 to 88. It'll feel like about 88 to 96 or 97. After that, your temperatures will also push around 93, 94, and your heat index will be around 105 and 110. So if you are going to the after party, I won't call it an after party, but the celebration later on in the day, it's going to be hot. If you're going to the Royals game, you're sitting in the hottest part of the day. Starts at 110. We win this game. We win the series, though. So mostly sunny, and it'll feel like 105, 110. Again, that whole in the shade, in the sun comes into play here. So, between innings, go find some shade if you can, especially if you're out in the sun where it'll feel so much warmer. All right, let's get to the Security Bank 7-day forecast and wrap this up because there's a lot to talk about. The first 3 days are the hottest. The first 3 days are the most impactful, the most dangerous, if you will. First warm weather days, our highest designation for that. And then you can see Wednesday, we've got that first warm, 50% chance of storms right now. Something we're definitely going to keep an eye on. Medium range models have a hold on this right now. Once the higher resolution models get a hold on it, starting tomorrow, we'll get, timing better, amounts better, placement a little bit better. And that's always going to continue to get better as we get closer. So come back for updates and we'll be sure to focus on that for sure. And then Thursday, there's a chance that we remain cloudy. We have an easterly wind. And that easterly wind Thursday, Friday, and Saturday will still have a moisture component to it. And we'll have just a little bit of lift from the front down to our south. We'll still have some southerly winds riding up over it and running into this, running over this air that's coming in from the east. So you've got winds that are kind of doing this, which is a little bit of wind shear, which will create some lift. You'll have an easterly wind at the surface. You'll have a little bit of a southerly wind upstairs pumping moisture into those clouds, and that's why you're going to have still a 30% chance of wet weather for Thursday. Now we'll start to dry that out a little bit Friday and Saturday, and some models are going as cool as like 75 for Friday and Saturday. Not quite sold on that, especially considering what we've lived through this month and how warm it's been, and the ground will still be relatively wet, which will hold the heat a little bit better. But either way, what a magnificent looking 3 days with just temperatures that invite you to spend so much time outside, and I hope you get a chance to do that. But for the next 3 days, yeah, we want to limit that as much as possible. All right, that's a look at your Security Bank 7-day forecast. Thanks for joining me once again. We'll have more updates coming up on the app, and of course, Warren's going to be in later on this afternoon, and he'll carry you through the afternoon and into the evening hours, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great day.